No, for some reason I always thought that Pacomike was Brazilian. I have no idea why, but I just always thought he was Brazilian.
Yeah, I know. I know he's Mexican, but I've played against him enough that I would be weird if I didn't. Paco, however, I will tell you, is oddly a derivative of the name Francisco. I'm not sure how Francisco turns into Paco. And Mike is the English version of Miguel. So it's likely his name is Francisco Miguel or something of the sort.
Oh my god, I love this. That is so cool. Because I would have never predicted that in a million years. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look up his name right now.
Oh no, what if it's not? Well, if it's not, then he's playing off of those names for sure. Because those are the,
Full name, Francisco Rodriguez.
Oh, there's a middle name in there, and I bet it's Miguel.
Okay.
Or Michael, and likely that it would be Michael because it would be one name in Spanish and one name in English. But yeah, Francisco's Paco.
How? Can you explain this?
I have no idea. I have no idea how Francisco turns into Paco. Yeah.
Well, you learn something new every day, guys. And today I've learned that Francisco turns into Paco. Apparently he's going for a relatively normal opening here, which is Cybercore before Nexus, Pylon on the low ground as well, and he even scouted, so he's not even trying to be a greedy boy. But it does really help out a lot to scout in this matchup, because you want to see if there's a reactor being built, you want to see, well, he left too early for that, but you just make sure at least there is an expand. And especially with Kelazhur, you never know, right? We know that Kelazhur is no stranger to building buildings outside of his main base.
Yeah, especially this bunker. I feel like it's one of his signature moves for like the last 9 years or something. Like he's consistently seen value in both matchups, both TVC and TVP. I think out of bunkers like this, he really likes it, and I also really like it honestly. Though it loses a little bit of effectiveness with the shield battery, and Pacomike is reacting very quick to it.
Actually doing a very good job in zoning the Reaper away as well. It's not going to make a big difference. He won't be able to prevent this Reaper from hopping into the bunker. But this is still going to delay the Protoss expand for a little bit. Even though the Nexus is up, you don't really want to send your probes over immediately. Actually, he will, because it's only a single Reaper. So it seems like he's not respecting this much. It is important for Pacomike that he doesn't end up losing any probes here. But so far, he's on the money.
Too, right?
It seems that the SCV left very early, right? So Kelazhur wasn't even trying to repair the bunker.
Yeah, and very well done by Pacomike mining the faraway mineral fields as well, so that the Reaper doesn't really interfere with that too much. So all the little details in place for Pacomike so far, a very clean defense. Let's see if he can keep it up.
A good scout there by Kelazhur with his Reaper, though, hopping up to the high ground, and then he spotted the robotics facility being built. And I gotta say, that's a little bit uncommon. I feel most of the time it's Stargate or Twilight Council. Wow, that is such a quick Robo Bay. 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So we are going to get some speed prism play here. Colossus, Disruptor, what's it going to be?
Difficult to say at this point. Given the Warp Prism so early, I don't know. I prefer Disruptors on drops personally, but I would have preferred Colossus just defensively against Terran, if that makes any sense. So I'm not sure which one he's going to end up going for.
The Hellion does get in the main base, picks up 2 kills already. Obviously, the Reaper was there as well. I think it's going to be a Colossus. I feel Disruptor would be very weak in defending drops, and I think that even an 8 Marine drop could kind of kill you, but we'll see. Colossus or Disruptor, Pacomike, Francisco?
Francisco! Francisco! It's going to be a Disruptor. And the Warp Prism upgrade as well to fly faster. I think the Disruptor is better aggressively, but I'm with you. Defensively is where we could see the cracks here. So I would love to see a Colossus follow up, perhaps. But we'll see what Pacomike has in store.
He is horribly out of position to deal with a mine drop. This is going to hurt. I mean, you can pick up some probes, I guess. Okay.
It's also the Disruptor.
The response is good.
Yeah.
Oh.
No! That was weird.
That was going to kill his own probes. I was like, no, not like this, man. The other mine is going to unload it in natural. I'm not sure if Pacomike is paying attention. It seems like the answer is no, and he ends up losing 4 probes.
Yeah, I would go as far as to say just 4 probes, though. That seemed like the best case scenario given the late reaction. And he didn't take much damage in the main, so I'm still hopeful for Pacomike here, who now has a Warp Prism with his own aggression moving towards Kelazhur.
Kelazhur does have a Raven, though, and a Raven is great against this stuff, because if you want to go for a risky disruptive shot where you take some damage, you can always drop an interference matrix on that Warp Prism, and then you're not able to pick up that disruptor. So I'm not really feeling this opening coming out of Pacomike. I feel like, I don't know if you agree, but I feel these kind of builds, they always feel a little bit to me like you're styling on your opponent. Like if you're way better, you know, you can always open up with a Warp Prism speed and fire a couple of Novas and win. But obviously Pacomike is a pretty big underdog here, so he believes that this is his best chance of winning, but I just don't know. I think Kelazhur is too good to really fall apart against this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing where you're looking to out multitask and outplay your opponent, kind of like Clem was doing, because he has actions to spare, right? And it's like Clem can go. Oh, this is
Oh my god,
that almost was a great shot.
He needs to recall. Okay. Oh my god, that's so close. 9 HP.
Wow.
Does survive.
So yeah, I'm with you. I think trading actions against a player like Kelazhur is a very difficult thing to do, and also sucks that he got scouted as early as he did. So on the side of Pacomike, taking 3 more probes worth of damage, he's maybe falling a little bit behind on account of not finding anything with the Warp Prism and the investment into the speed as well.
Yeah, this opening really did not work out at all. Kelazhur is going to go up to 3 bases while moving out. So command center being built on location kind of shows the confidence that Kelazhur has here. And this is already going to be a pretty difficult push to deal with. We do have Blink Stalkers. We do have still 2 Disruptors out as well. So if we can get a couple of M-canning Novas up in this, you know what, then there is a good chance that this game will go on. But the Novas are going to have to be good. Otherwise, Pacomike is in problem. He's losing more probes in the main base to that Widowmine.
Yeah, beautiful scan for Kelazhur, knowing not to chase if the Disruptors are there, and indeed they are. So Kelazhur already in a very good position. It's going to be difficult for Pacomike to push this back as he gets set with his shield batteries and Disruptor Shot. Oh, Disruptor Shot is actually going to land on a few units there. A few too many. Is there a Colossus on the way? There isn't. There's another Disruptor on the way.
We're going full M-canning up in here. I mean, a Super Battery is trying to do whatever it can, but eventually even a Super Battery can't out-heal the Terran army. Forward Blink as well dives on top of the tanks. But Stalkers don't deal very well with Stim Bio, especially now that there are 5 Marauders in the mix. And I think this Nexus is really dead. And Todd, who just finished his Warcraft 3 game, and today tweeted in German, which kind of excited me actually, is telling us to look at the supply, and the supply does not like us.
Yeah, it's not looking too good. I mean, that Blink was kind of a desperation move. I would have liked to see it timed with the Disruptor Nova, right? So that at least you blink on forward and force the Marines to move across or away where you can maybe snipe the tank and get out with the Stalkers. But instead, all of the Novas are used at that point, and the Stalkers kind of just blink into their death, and Kelazhur is just way too solid, way too clean, takes no damage from the Disruptor investment and the Speed Warp Prism investment, and this is just... yeah, this is just it, I think.
Yep. These kinds of builds are probably not going to get it done. That Nexus is, well, actually almost going to fall immediately, but it doesn't really matter. Interference Matrix disables the Disruptor, and Kelazhur will pick up a very clean 1-0 lead. This is well done by Kelazhur. It all starts with a Widowmine drop. To be fair, it's very hard to defend a Widowmine drop if you don't have Blink Stalkers or any air units. So I feel then you're always going to take some damage. Gotta at least try to catch the medevac, so the medevac can't just keep swinging in like over and over and over again, because then you're just taking way too much damage.
Yeah, that's just the thing. It compounds the issue that he went for such a heavy investment into that Robo, into the Disruptor, into all that tech, because then he has less units on defense as well, and everything kind of just crumbles, right? He needed to find crucial damage, and Kelazhur was just so well positioned, and at that point it's just like you've thrown away so much resources.
Yeah. When he opened up with the Robo, I was like, what's this gonna be? Are we going to get like a random 4-gate attack with a Warp Prism? Like you defend the first Widowmine opening and then you just counter-attack immediately and basically just try to win the game with basic gateway units and some Warp Prism micro. I was like, you know, I've seen crazier things work, but these fancy builds, like I know that they can work if you're way better than your opponent, or once in a blue moon if the build orders allow it. Like, let's say Kelazhur opens up 3 racks, then this is actually a pretty good opening. You can go 1 Disruptor into defensive Colossus, and then while the army is marching to the other side of the map, you can fire Novas into it. But against any factory opening, I don't think this stuff is very good.
Yeah, I like everything that you just said, because I was thinking also it would have been really nice if those Disruptors would at least move out on the map with the Stalkers, right? To try to catch the army before it gets situated, before the tanks are sieged. And yeah, that would have been really nice. Or even have the Warp Prism with 2 Disruptors trying to see if it can find some of those reinforcements. Instead, the War Prison was on the other side of the map by itself, and most of the army tucked back in, so Kelazhur just moves freely through the map as well, which doesn't help Pacomike's case. Oxide is going to be the next map.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Playing on Pillars of Gold twice over here. It's kind of fun. Same belts, same spawning positions, same ending. Who knows?
We'll see. We'll see.
I do like this map, but I really would have liked this map a lot more if Pillars of Gold wasn't still in the map pool, because they really are a bit too similar for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of trickier positions, I guess, you know, where it comes to like rock positionings. Those are kind of just the only place that's strategically diverse comparatively, right? Like those large rocks for siege tanks, essentially. Either way, we're gonna see a very similar map indeed. And in the top right-hand side, it is the Brazilian Terran Terror. It is Kelazhur.
In the bottom left side, we're looking at the main base of our Mexican Protoss player. He plays a ridiculous amount of ladder games. He's closing in on 500 already this season. It is Pacomike.
Or Francisco Miguel.
Well, we haven't confirmed the Miguel part yet.
That is true. That is true.
Like, he could have no middle name, but he's just like, damn it, Mom, I wish you would have called me Miguel. So he went with Francisco Miguel as nickname.
Yeah. That would be fantastic. All right, is that a Reaper Wolof already? Or is that just 2 buildings? Is that enough?
Yeah, looks like it, I'd say.
That's cool.
So.
I'll have to copy that then.
I haven't really seen a whole lot of TVPs yet on this map, and on top of that, I don't wall off myself, so I'm never too sure.
Alrighty, well, Pacomike is moving across the map pretty fast here, right after his gateway, I believe. Was that a gateway scout?
Yeah, it was a really early scout.
What do you make of that? What's the advantages of scouting this early?
I don't know, you make your opponent very paranoid, but it's not very good for your economy. You can be a bit annoying. We can see that Pacomike is being annoying right now, preventing Kelazhur from being able to just casually drop that command center. And a lot of Terran players are, you know, very OCD about, no, I know it can fly, but I just want to build it on the right spot. And that is what Kelazhur does as well. So he did delay it for, I don't know, 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah, I guess you can tase your opponent. I guess if there's like proxies out on the map, you would get to scout that. Or maybe if you go inside and there's like an extra barracks. But yeah, I find myself scouting pretty often in PvT, but I rarely see like the value unless they're going for something super cheeky. Kelazhur is once again gonna go for the bunker on the low ground. So staying true to his strategy, to his tactic.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of value in confirming that the barracks is at home, in confirming that there is a command center. You know, those things do really matter. But yeah, you can obviously confirm that with a slightly later scout. But you know, maybe Pacomike just thinks that he's got that Hawk probe control, you know, and he gets a couple SCV kills every now and then.
Yes, indeed. The battery is a little bit later than last time around, though, so it's gonna be a little bit harder to push this bunker out.
That battery is probably not going to heal an adept if it's at the bottom side of that nexus, right?
Yeah, or I'm not sure if it's good for the probes though. As they arrive to the nexus, I think they will be healed, all of them, right?
Yeah, if they come from the main, yeah, okay. I think probes maybe barely. I'm actually not sure about probes on the bottom of the nexus though.
Yeah, I think when they return the minerals, then for sure. So maybe that's what he's looking for. I mean, he's mining just fine for now. The battery is gonna help at the front as well later.
Oh yeah,
and with the stalkers,
damn, what's the range on these things, cats?
They're invincible, and Kelazhur is gonna have to look for that salvage. There it is, as the Reaper jumps inside the main. So not many resources lost. A very nice Reaper wall for Pacomike will condemn this Reaper to death, and a decent start once again.
Yeah, this wasn't all that bad. And there's a Twilight as well. Did the Reaper confirm? No, the Reaper didn't see the Twilight counter this time, so could be a bit scarier. I'd love to see Blink starting immediately, and that's exactly what happens. Hopefully, look at Pacomike. Oh, I thought he was just going to go up to 3 bases. I thought I saw a probe move out, but that's not happening.
Yeah, that is something that I really like, but I also really often die to a lot of 2-base all-ins. I'm not sure if Mana had the right idea, just dropping production before taking that third, if he anticipates the all-in. That said, Kelazhur going for the same tactic as last time, but this time around, Roddy, there's also going to be a Liberator to be extra annoying.
Yeah. It's going to be hard, but I think with Blink Stalkers, you should have a much better time in defending. It is important he keeps chrono boosting that Twilight, and that is exactly what Pacomike is doing. Is that a full wall of in the natural as well?
Yeah, and he's gonna spot the medevac with a big heads up thanks to that probe. But will he react? He hasn't seen it. All right, reacts just in time. So the mines are not gonna find any damage for the time being. The one Hellion tries to run in.
Oh, don't send your probes back. He left one behind.
Okay.
This is already a lot of damage though, Cats. Like, I know people think like, oh, it's just a single probe or maybe 2 probes, but if you lose this amount of mining time in this phase in the game, you're gonna have a very hard time dealing with the first proper push.
Yeah, exactly. Now there's the blink about to finish, and you would love for Pacomike to move out, but it's so difficult to move out when this medevac is still around, and now there's gonna be a liberator as well, so Kelazhur looking to hit him on both sides at the same time. This is more or less what it comes down to, right? A clean defense will grant Pacomike an advantage, and if Kelazhur finds a little bit too much damage, then we might see the same snowball that we saw in the previous game. So let's see how this goes.
I hope he saw that with the Adapt. Please tell me you saw that with the Adapt. Yeah, I guess he didn't, because the Widow Mines will show up in the main base. There is no pull. This is going to hurt.
Oh, wow, that hurt the least possible. The only 4 probes going down as one of the mines one of the mine shots follow the probe. Now the Liberator, though, finding space to siege regardless. The Blink Stalkers don't know where to go. And oh my god, that is a little bit more damage. 6 probes now and a lot more mining time lost from the side of Pac.
And all of this really does start adding up. There's a good chance that Pacomike will still get up to 6 to 8 gates. Gets Zealots with charge as well. And okay, we actually have a Robo Bay too. I didn't even see that he got a Robo Bay. So he's got a little bit of everything. I'm just kind of afraid that he's not going to be able to deal with the first proper bio push. Because if you look at what Kelazhur has in his main base, that is a very powerful army. And that's not going to get stopped by 3 or 4 random Zealots with charge that don't have any armor upgrades.
Yeah, it's indeed going to be difficult. To the good for Pacomike, at least there is this observer that has spotted the medevac also moving back, and now we'll scout Kelazhur moving out. So I wonder, do you send the Blink Stalkers out to meet this army at this point, Roddy, or do you sit back?
I think you're supposed to stand out and at least buy yourself a little bit of time, like try to shave off 3 or 4 Marines, which can really make a big difference in the overall defense. What I really wouldn't do is drop a Templar Archives while I'm already kind of worried about how powerful his army is. Kelazhur with a little F2 there though, flying the Liberator over the Stalkers. It's going to make it a little more doable. The Colossus is about to show up. Can we get a super battery maybe for the hole?
Yeah, very important. There's the super battery. The Colossus, very, very well timed on the side of Pacomike, might just be enough to defend this. And he has Blink as well, so Kelazhur can't so easily just Blink or just load and leave. Pacomike has to pay attention that this is one of the plays that Kelazhur has at his disposal. Wow. And there it is. Pacomike, react. You knew this was coming.
Wow, really good defense, to be honest. I think if Kelazhur didn't throw his way, his Liberator the way he did, like he should have sent that Lib into the natural while this push was happening. But great job there by Pacomike. That was not an easy defense, and obviously the overcharged battery helped out a lot. But I think very well done.
Yeah, I think so. But even though it deflects the attack, I feel like you need to be ready for that, for those medevacs to load up and blink and kill one of them, right? You have enough stalkers to I think, kill it. Mm-hmm. So I think not reacting fast enough is a little bit of an oversight, seeing as it was kind of a telegraphed move, right? Like otherwise those units are just dead.
Oh, yeah, definitely onto something there. And it's also important to keep sniping the medevac so you can keep the medevac count low. And then you make defending against the next wave a little bit easier. Now, the double drop is going to get taken care of, I want to say, even though those Marauders are doing a really good job. But it's important that Pacomike doesn't send too many units here. That's smart, actually. High ground vision.
Yeah, but, very well done.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I still think this is a good game for Kelazhur. He's definitely in position, but Pacomike does actually have a couple of things going for himself at this point.
Yeah, now Pacomike is doing the thing that I do every time I want to lose the game, which is to go for Disruptors and Templars at the same time. It is so very difficult to control those units at the same time. Roddy, do you have a solution? Do you have tips?
Yeah, stay on 2 gases and make nothing but Zealots, baby. A moving 8 hard.
All right. Oh, there's the blink available. But again, a little bit slow on the reaction, and now it's spent. Those mines don't have a way to be cleared out, as there is no observer out right now. And Kelazhur dropping on the main is going to be able to get rid potentially one of this Colossus. Oh, no. That is a top loss.
Yep. Colossus are a bit derpy. To give a more serious answer to your question, I really think it's just practice, and obviously you need multiple control groups, but you need to talk to Showtime about that kind of stuff. Not me. That Widowmine shot could have really hurt. It didn't in the end, but obviously these are great trades for Kelazhur across the board. My biggest issue with the way that Kelazhur, excuse me, yeah, that's a good shot as well. 5 more probes go down. Pacomike is doing too many things at once. Like, he's building a lot of gateways, which is like, you want to play mass gate? And he's like, no. You want to play mass stalker zealot? He's like, well, I get link and charge, but no. It's like, okay, you have Colossus opening, that's good. Colossus into Immortal, he's like, no. Templar Archives, double Forge right now. Let's get some Storm going. It's just, it's too many things at once.
Yeah, I completely agree. And now he's morphing the Templars into Archon, so the Storm is gonna kind of go to waste to a good degree, right? And I don't mind this because Archons are so very strong as well, and you have Disruptors to also micro, so there's definitely that overlap where it becomes a little bit more difficult to use both the Storm and the Disruptors. But now Kelazhur has such a huge army, and with the investments for Pacomike being so diverse across the board, it's gonna be difficult to hold. This Disruptor does not connect.
Yeah, that one Liberator setting up is going to make his life a lot easier as well. That means the Zealots are going to have a very hard time. That's a good Storm, though. That does connect with a lot of the bio units. And fighting in range of a battery, I thought that Kelazhur would have learned his lesson about the fighter earlier. But you really do have to disengage. You got to respect the battery, Skets.
Yeah, and he also spent all of his Widow Mines on a weird flank, so he doesn't have them to fall back to if, say, Pacomike manages to get enough Zealots out, which is a little bit concerning for Kelazhur. That said, it's mostly Stalkers on the side of Pacomike. Oh, there's some Zealots.
He's gonna wipe in a few more Zealots. He does have 2 upgrades on the way, and if those would finish up, then I actually start believing in his chances. But right now, his army really isn't that strong, and if it wasn't for those batteries, he'd be in a lot of trouble. I love how he's just casually sneaking in a fort base in the bottom right side. No, stop attacking the rock base. You're losing a Colossus. Oh, no.
Oh, very well done by Kelazhur, identifying that if Pacomike is not looking at that point in time, he can snipe the Colossus for free. That's exactly what he does, and that was the backbone of the army. The Vikings are now being landed. The Marauders are too strong and pushing on forward. And this is looking grim now for Pacomike. Where is the next Colossus? There is 3 Templars and a Colossus, but there's not much left to defend here.
The Liberator does finally go down. That Liberator had like 10 kills. He got so many shots off. It was an MVP Liberator. I mean, Pacomike is trying to do whatever he can. With a couple of extra war pins, he's going to push this army back. But make no mistake, guys, Kelazhur is very rich, and the Terran stream of units will never stop. This one is pretty much over. I gotta say, a better game by Pacomike, but just a little too ambitious, you know? A few too many plans at once.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. He could have had a few more